Take another look now and take some time for hemp.
Thank you for taking Time for Hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leach. We are going to be joined on the program today with Toby Grear.
And joining us here, Mike from Cann. Mike, thank you for taking Time for Hemp. Yeah, man, this is quite an honor. You're working really hard there in Boston to raise the voice of the marijuana movement and talk an awful lot about freedom. And I know we got a special guest on the line as well, a gentleman by the name of Toby.
Toby Grear is a two-time champion in the sport of mixed martial arts. He also grapples in other areas of martial arts. He came out with a video that I noticed on YouTube, which is awesome. It's what's called Marijuana Increased Recovery and Performance. You know, a lot of us think about medical marijuana for pain and to alleviate, symptoms. And he actually uses it to be a better athlete, as a safer alternative to some of the other things people put into their body.
Hey, hi, this is Toby TigerHeart Grear.
Toby, tell me, how does the use of marijuana affect your performance as an athlete?
Man, it's a touchy subject right now. The reality is for what I'm doing, getting in a cage and going to combat, I don't want to be under the influence of cannabis during that time. That's just assumed. But there's other times during training, specifically like jiu-jitsu training. What I found in my jiu-jitsu training is when I'm on the ground working slow, it allows me to relax and see openings that I may not have seen before. And with regards to the mixed martial arts training, there's a science to martial arts, but there's also an art. And once you get the science down, the art is the fun part. And as an artist, the use of cannabis during, jiu-jitsu training does help.
Well, that's the interesting aspect, because a lot of people would think that it would slow you down some. You are quite an example for a lot of people to follow.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Your traditional thought of cannabis, and it's with the language. We had Alan from Normal talking on a few days ago about the change in language, and it's really just changing it. The language around cannabis will change the perceptions of it. We all know it's not dangerous. It's like, it's very similar to MMA. Everybody thought MMA was the most violent, dangerous sport on earth for years. Now it's really popular. It's on TV, it's on everything, and you got still kids getting paralyzed, boxers, young kids dying, and then in MMA, you have bumps and bruises, so the parallels are pretty strong. The more people become aware of both cannabis and MMA, the more and widely they're both getting accepted. So as soon as we change the language.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to do with it. I know that. That's for sure. I know, Mike, you got some things going on there that has to do with the language and your wording that you're trying to get through the state legislature, don't you?
Yes, we have a medical marijuana bill right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
All right. I can hear you.
Yeah, we're working on a medical marijuana bill in Massachusetts. And last year, we decriminalized in Massachusetts through ballot initiative. So, we're actually working right now, hopefully not doing too much negotiating to get this medical bill passed.
You're lucky to have Toby involved with your festival this year.
We are myself personally, and I think everyone with Cann Normal is very excited to have Toby come out from, L.A. He's got a gym out there. And I was just watching his YouTube video. He just, he was grappling in the. What was this event, Toby, that you were just doing last weekend?
A good example, man, was just last weekend. I was in the U.S. Open, one of the bigger jiu-jitsu tournaments in America, and I beat a black belt. I beat a black belt in jiu-jitsu black belt at his game. And whether you want to argue for or against cannabis, I do my jiu-jitsu training a lot of times under the influence of cannabis. And I can go to a place like the U.S. Open against the best competitors in the world and in the first round beat a black belt at his game. I think that says a lot. And getting the word out about that and the ability to train and compete as an artist, I'm a combative artist. That's what I do. And then what that cannabis use allows me to do is really open up those channels that, otherwise not opened,
And it seems like you're doing the same in your real life. I mean, when I'm looking at what happened with California, the athletic commission.
So, yeah, I mean, the reason I'm the face of cannabis use in MMA right now is because I went up against the California State Athletic Commission. They're in the Department of Commerce, and they're telling me that marijuana or cannabis is a drugs of abuse. They're in the same department that notarized the letter in my left hand that says I can use cannabis as a healthy alternative. And then in the right hand, I have a letter from essentially the same department, the California Department of Commerce, saying, you're under suspension for we're going to call it drugs of abuse. So what I did, I got busted once, didn't make enough of a stink, got all my paperwork in order, got everything ready, got busted a second time. Basically, I pissed dirty, which I can take, It's not a performance enhancer. It's not helping me win these fights. I stopped using many weeks before the fight, which is obviously recommended by my doctor. He says 48 hours. I stopped many weeks before. So that was my argument. And now, what I'm doing right now is just trying to get them to change the language. They want to call it performance enhancer, fine. They want to call it something else, that's fine. But for them to have marijuana labeled with cocaine and heroin on a drugs of abuse list, that's not fair. I'm licensed by the same department that gave me my letter of recommendation from my doctor to use cannabis. So there's a direct contradiction there. And what I'm doing right now is I'm fighting hard, and all these interviews and stuff make it that much more of an issue. Obviously, it's not good to use marijuana or cannabis during an athletic sport when you're getting there in a cage and guys are dropping elbows on your face. Okay? But, there's other times throughout training after a hard workout. It's essential for rest and recovery for people who don't want to rely on steroids or who don't want to rely on painkillers. In this sport, we found an alternative. It's the roster way, and it works, and we believe in it. Yeah, and that's what I try and instill in my students. It's a weird place that I'm in now, but I own a mixed martial arts gym that teaches fighting. But my gym's called True Warrior Fitness, and the idea there is that everybody has a true warrior within, and through mixed martial arts training and other lifestyle changes, like the healthy use of cannabis, can make you discover and develop that true warrior within. And that's the roster way, is that I'm trying to get as many people to discover that true warrior within so that we can fight against what we call Babylon, and that is the Western thought, and this thought that we can keep a plant. We have plants locked up for life, doing life terms, if you think about it, in evidence chambers. We have plants locked up doing life terms. Something's wrong.
I never thought of it like that.
Something's wrong here, you know what I mean? Something's wrong.
Now, there's a lot of organizations out there that are fighting for legalization. Are there any specifically focused on people who are involved in sports?
I would like to highlight Don Duncan of ASA, Americans for Safe Access. He stepped up to the plate and came with me, actually sat right by my side at my hearing when I was up against the 7 highest people in the California State Athletic Commission. Don really stepped up, and he spoke for about 4 or 5 minutes on behalf of me, and that was great. It really helped the cause, and Don's been there for me. I know that locally he's helping me, and internationally I know Americans for Safe Access is working, and obviously Normal is helping me get my message out. But
now, you say Normal's helping you get your message out. Are they sponsoring you on a tour? Is there events that you'll be attending? Are there places that you'll be showing up that people can?
I've been invited. I'll be on the panel Athleticism and Cannabis at the 38th annual Yes We Cannabis 38th International Normal Conference, and that's coming up the week after the Freedom Rally. So there's a lot of things happening. The movement. And there's a lot of shifts right now, and you can feel the momentum shift right now. And I'm not sure if you or our listeners are aware, but we're right on the cusp of a big change. Our top scientist, David Murray, is on his way out. The last Bush appointee, the man at the top, and he's coming out sometime this September. And Obama gets to appoint a guy, and that's when the floodgates hopefully will open, and we can start making a change in the language and like the current drug czar said, stop the war on drugs.
My friend, it has been a joy to have you on as a guest. Would it be possible to have you come back sometime when we have more time to spend with you?
Anytime. I mean, as you can probably tell, I got a lot to say, and I'm looking forward to that Freedom Rally. And it's, I love the title, Fighting for Freedom, because I'm fighting every day, and you know, Michael has put together an unbelievable event, and it's going to be huge this year, and I hope everybody comes out.